All right, the Fresh Inspiration Show. We've had a great morning, haven't we? I mean, people are checking in. Dodie was just going for it, asking all these questions. Dodie, you just keep answering, ask these questions. I am here for you, my friend. Anybody else that's coming in, if you're just coming in now at the top of the hour, my name is Rhonda Liebig, and I'm a vitality coach, creator of the Fresh Inspiration Show. When I first started this show, I didn't know what I wanted to do with it. I was going and doing things live. I live here in Sacramento, California, and I was here and I was going to Vegas and I went to um, San Francisco and I went around like and did this thing like Sonoma County, Marin, and I did this circle going around and I had so much fun. 2 years ago, when everything started up with dealing with everything being shut down, I was like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? How am I going to serve a space as the founder of this show? Am I really going to give up this show and not have the structure what I did? Because at first, what we were doing is that we were going in and we were doing live show and have a videographer. The videographer then would capture things. They have 2 or 3 cameras going, and then from there he would put it into an edit. We would review it, make sure it all did its thing, like bing, bada bang, bada boom kind of thing. And then it would go out to Roku TV, Apple TV, and it was cool to have this TV show and have this professional videographer. And the pricing of the package, oh my gosh, to have somebody do that at every show, almost every single month. But what I learned is to, well, first to rack up debt, because I was like, how do I flip that so I make sure I'm bringing in the people? And in those days, I got to learn more about myself. And so this next hour is going to be about what it feels like to feel that freedom, even when you feel like you're in the crud. Dodie says, gotta go, Rhonda. Sorry, chat soon. Oh, it was great. Thank you, Dodie. But when you're in the thick of stuff and you feel like, wow, I'm really growing here, I'm really enjoying what I'm doing, but you recognize that not everything is coming together. So I had this really big challenge because I was like, we're putting on a great show and I'm spending, so much money to keep the show going and all the pricing that went around it. And sometimes we leap when we want a quantum leap. Thank you, Lorenzo. It says, thank you, Rhonda. A blast being in there. And I will definitely get those links in there for you. So sometimes there's space that really doesn't feel like everything's coming together. And then you start learning that what you're learning. Like you take a step back and get out of that fear. And then you start realizing, all right, I'm serving great purpose here. What's the next level I need to do in my mind, in my flow, maybe my morning routine that I need to add so that I can start hearing the next level of what I am being called to so that I can keep serving in this space. So that we can also put the show virtually on this Roku TV and have this professional TV show. And it was a fabulous experience. So I had some fears going there. I had some things going on with understanding that I wasn't fully stepping into everything, but I was serving a big space, but I wasn't able to fully hold the capacity because every time that I would be doing a show, I wasn't fully all in. My thing that I was stuck with, and tell me about this, the Fresh Inspiration Show, you out there that's hanging out with me this morning or afternoon or evening for coming from Australia. I have some friends in Australia, and I have people from all over the world. Who's ever coming in? I was learning to step into being a leader. And let's talk about the definition of being a leader. What I'm doing is I'm transitioning to our next hour, which Rondaloo Moxie is coming in. Guess who that is? That's me. So we're going to transition from the host going into what I get to share with you today. And we have more show after that, which is really cool. But I wasn't stepping in as a leader. And as a leader, what the issue was is that people were having problems with me. Like, the show wasn't going as smooth as they wanted it to, which would be the stars of the show at that time. Or let's say the videographer didn't show up, because at the end, the videographer actually stopped showing up, even though he was getting paid for this. And Lorenzo's talking to me here. Lorenzo says, "What is a leader?" Lorenzo, I'm getting to that. Thank you. He's sidebarring here and interviewing me. This is great. But I wasn't stepping into things, because what was happening is, this is kind of my definition of being a leader, is that I was listening to people talk. I could hear them saying things. And I was like, oh my gosh, I feel so sad. I feel so sad because I don't get to go and complain with them and say, oh yeah, that Rhonda's not getting everything right. And I was like really, really bummed that I was in this space that wasn't allowing me to really step into it. I started talking to myself, and I'm like, okay, as the leader of this community, how can you hold the capacity for the stars of the show that were struggling with this? Now, I knew I was struggling with this. I was scared as heck that things weren't running the way that I first created this stuff. And I'm already almost 2 years in the business running the Fresh Inspiration Show as a live show. So I was learning as I was going along. So sometimes as a leader and getting into a bigger capacity space where you can do bigger things and people are listening and they really want to know more, is that you start asking yourself those questions. What's making me feel uncomfortable? What's rubbing me the wrong way? Like the wrong way, like it just feels like things aren't smooth. And that's good. When things are rubbing you the wrong way, you know what's perfect about that? Is that it's the right way to start questioning things. Why is that bothering me? Well, I was afraid to be a leader. I'm sorry about that. I have my phone because I'm going to take you to another room in about a half an hour, and I'm going to do it with my phone, so I have it on. People are deciding to, call me at this time. So are you getting the idea of like what maybe some things may be showing up for you as wanting to step in as a leader? So the definition of a leader that I'm aware of at this time, please add in the Fresh Inspiration Show community if you want to, riff with me on this one. A leader is somebody that knows things are not always going to go well. They may go, everything just may go like chaos, crazy, and you don't even know the next step to do. And Lorenzo started talking about this and us going back and forth about like having a script. Well, you don't have a script when everything is in chaos. Do you literally just like walk away? Oh, just forget it. I'm gone. Or do you kind of peek in and go, man, I feel really uncomfortable. And you start feeling the emotion. A good leader feels the emotion and says, man, I just heard you and I understand that you're not feeling good about this. I'm not either. And I'm trying to create something here. Can you help me create something? Because this example I'm thinking about, the videographer didn't show up. So how can we make this a precious moment so that you feel like you're being served? I feel like I'm being served. The community feels like they're being served. And you start really partnering with the people that are at you. The definition of being afraid of not stepping in is you just go by and you just totally abandon them. Like you can still physically be there, but you're abandoning them. You're just like, oh, I'm just going to ignore it. And so the first time that the videographer didn't show up, I kind of abandoned them. And I just was like what I would do in corporate as an accountant. I would just totally kind of pretend like it wasn't happening. I was like, well, yeah. And I just do my work. And I'd be like, oh, yeah, there's chaos out there. And, like it's their issue. I'm going to pretend that nothing is happening. Because if I do that, then they won't see my weakness. But what if I said, as a leader, you actually get to show the rawness, the uncomfortable space, but you're still holding the capacity so that you're still seen as a person that's holding the space for them. Like, I got you. These are the things that I wish I would have understood as a manager, as a CPA. I really wanted a coach, somebody that could share with me what my nuggets were because I felt so lost. Have you ever felt so lost in your life where you just crumbled? Your whole nervous system just totally was like, I'm out of here. And you just want to go, you collapse. You go, I'm exhausted. I can't even do the next thing. Because if I do that next thing, it's going to break me because I have these things coming at me and I can't get away from it. So you see, what is your definition of being a leader? Where is it that you're not stepping in? What is feeling uncomfortable for you? What kind of questions do you want to ask yourself so that you can expand and open up? What gets you in the heart that it makes you want to cry? I mean, that good cry, because crying is good. You have that good cry and you go, oh, woe's me. I can't go any further. And you start asking yourself those questions. That's when you hold your heart. You say, I got this. I got this. I love you. That's what I say. So I hope that I got that in there about the leadership because that's a big one. When I coach people, and sometimes they're not in that space, they're like, I don't want to talk about being a leader. And I go, well, what's a word that you want to express? What is the word that you're going to be doing what you're doing? And we start going in that way. And you start feeling safer and safer in that space. And then all of a sudden you realize everything you've been doing has been a leader. So think about that. That's you and me, cheers, as the host of the show. Now let's get into this next space. I'm gonna invite Rhonda Lou Moxie in. So you may this is like being a leader. Like I woke up one day and I had this call with somebody and they said, Rhonda, this whole Rhonda Liebig kind of thing, like in the US, because think about it. Actually, my last name, Liebig, it means love in German. So it's a beautiful name. There is a lot of people that I know that are in the US and they see lie big. They said, you know what? They say, yeah, Rhonda does a good job, but man, that last name, it's unfortunate. And it's a name that I married into. I love my husband so much. And I was like, well, I have that name. And it was kind of funny as a CPA having a last name that looked like lie big. But in this space, I was like, you know what? There's some big things coming on here. And last 2 years, I've been doing this growth. And it's been about recognizing who I am. Well, my spiritual growth is expanding, ever soaring. Especially, like I said earlier, a few days ago, I lost my best friend. Let's share a story with you after I introduce Rhonda Lou Moxie. What was happening for me is that my spiritual journey started opening up more, and I started speaking these words about light and love and um, being, nurturing, leading instead of telling somebody, do this, do that. I even noticed how I was showing up in the sessions where I was coaching people, and I was starting to speak more about let's do meditation. And I would have them do the meditation or I would do the meditation because I wanted that space. I wanted them out of the cerebral. So I started noticing I was showing up differently. I was feeling things more. I could feel it in my heart. I could feel that everything I was saying was like, oh, like I just loved. And it wasn't that I like, oh, I love me. It wasn't about me. My growing, though, was about me. I was learning that I was getting further and further away from this fight or flight scenario where I was afraid to really speak to who I am. I was almost hiding. I was like ducking. Those kinds of things. When somebody would say something, I'd say, what does your heart say? And in some groups, I wouldn't say that. But over the past couple of years, there are many people I lost in my life. It got me deeper and deeper to my work. And I decided it's now or never. It's going to not support the fact that I am this person that runs the Fresh Inspiration Show, this person that does these things that I feel like I'm being vulnerable every day. Well, why am I not sharing who I am? So Lou got birthed. So now it's Rhonda Lou. Lou in the Japanese, it's very kind of like a kind of a flow, a spiritual esque kind of a feel. And I started acknowledging that some people were already calling me Rhonda Lou, and I didn't like it years ago. I'd be like, oh, my name is Rhonda. Oh, that kind of thing. And I didn't want anybody nicknaming me. Well, I love when people nickname me. If you give me a nickname, I love it. But then I wanted to be seen and heard, and my name was the seen and heard. Well, names are fun. So why not just kind of play with it? So Rhonda Lou was birthed a couple of years ago, but there was something else there that really didn't feel whole yet. And it had to do with that I love being tenacious. Tell me, come on, add any words, everybody, for you. What do you love to do? How do you love to show up when you know you're at your highest purpose, your highest self? I love being tenacious. I love playing. I love laughing. I love leading with the heart. I love love. Give me more love, and that helps me grow because then all of a sudden, I'm talking to tons of people. I want to know more people. I want to know their stories. I want to keep growing. I get so excited about life. Life to me is life, love, um, all the L words. And so, Moxie all of a sudden started birthing in my soul. I'm like, yes, Moxie, boom, boom, Moxie. And so I started playing with this Rhonda Lou Moxie, and I was like, yeah, Rhonda Lou Moxie, woohoo! Well, who's Rhonda Lou Moxie? Well, when she shows up, you know you're going to have fun. You know you're going to be able to ask any question you want because I'm ready and there. I'm learning even more about what this Rhonda Lou Moxie means. That I get to show up in all this love. That's what has been birthed over these couple years. Now, this is the space where I want to ask you, even though we're introducing Rhonda Lou Moxie, I want to hold the space for you here for a moment. What have you been birthing over the past couple of years that help you feel freedom, safety, and you feel that healing? Freedom, safety, healing. Freedom, safety, healing. Rhonda Lou Moxie. Is there a new name out there for you, or are you loving when you show up, when you feel freedom, safety, and healing? So that is what we're about here. All right. So Rhonda Lou Moxie brings into events her high energy vibe and her vitality approach to support quantum leap discussions for lifestyle, health, and business. You know it, my friend. Rhonda will come and play virtually or live, and I will play with your intuition. I'll play with your playfulness. So the remaining of this hour, you got Rhonda Lou Moxie. Here I am. We're going to play today. We're going to talk about freedom, safety, and healing. And I have my notes because this stuff has been getting created over the past few days, even more of this after I lost my friend, and I'm going to get there in that story. I'm almost there. But I truly believe if we have freedom, safety, and healing, this is the theme right here where I'm talking about heart vitality, that there's some things we have to ask ourselves. And after my friend Anna passed away Sunday morning, I started getting some downloads on Sunday. So I'm thinking Anna's around, like being my health coach, and she's also being my business coach because Anna was there for me at the beginning of my business 12 years ago. So everything I'm doing now, Anna and I birthed together. She was the holder in space in creating the beauty. I'd send her a picture and she would like make a logo for me. She'd listen to what was important to me. She listened to me. She's been in my life since I was 19 years old. Her and I, we did some fabulous, wild, and crazy fun things in those age when we were those ages. It was incredible. Do you have a friend like that? I believe what I just wrote here a few days ago is that we need truth for ourselves. We need to understand like how to be truthful in our world. And so that's going to be the next layer. I'm going to start with freedom, safety, and healing. The next layer, we're going to go into truth. We're going to talk about how we can learn to receive more. And we're going to learn about love. And I'm going to make sure that I keep up our group here. If you have any questions, so Dodie says, still here brushing teeth and listening. Hey, Dodie, let me know next time that Rendezvous Moxie would like to see. Oh, yeah, would only be around? Oh, I sure will, Dodie, and have a blessed day. Dodie, you too. I appreciate you, my friend. So I have you right here. Ask any questions. But to be in truth, how do we get to freedom, safety, and healing? We can't just ask for it because there's some healing that we need to do, like that third part. When we get into that healing part and we're asking for that, well, how do we get there? Because we can't just say, I wake up in the morning and I feel totally free and life is so easy. No, it's like, well, I don't want to talk at you. I want to understand what are the steps that we need to do. I believe if we look at ourselves and we start living in truth, so our brain does not split, and we do not say yes, no, but we really use the heart to culminate what our truth really is. And sometimes we don't know it until we breathe it in. And I'll share with you some ways that you can show up in truth. In some ways, you may not be. So I hope you find this very interesting. Also, I believe learning how to receive. You know, when somebody gives you a compliment, and this will be an example because I'll speak about it a little bit longer later. And they say, man, you look beautiful today. And you're like, oh, yeah, yeah. Well, I bought this here and, it's really nothing that big. And, oh, well, it's just because somebody helped me. And you start deflecting what somebody is sharing with you. But they're saying, and it could be not about your clothes. It could not even be about your hair. It could be your aura. So when you start really going in there in the heart sense, it becomes so, so different. Have you ever felt that in your heart that somebody is speaking to you heart to heart, that they're really not looking at you physically, but they may be seeing something very physical about you? Somebody's here. They may be seeing something very physical about you. And so let me close this part right here too, if they're outside. That's what happens at a live show. That's what Lorenzo was talking about. If a kitty cat comes in, if the dogs start barking, you just keep going. But there's also this thing about receiving. When somebody gives you that love, you start getting more comfortable when you start realizing that, hey, this is your chance to really show up. And so you start receiving. And I can feel it in the hands. Like like if you get clammy in the hands, it's like sometimes you just don't believe in yourself. And it's hard to receive that you are actually a better person than what you may be telling yourself. There's a stat that I love talking about. We're known to do 60,000 words within our brain. 80% of that is known to be negative in the studies that they did. 90% is stuff that's recycled. And think about it, if something's recycled, that means sometimes when we feel bad, we don't fully know the words that we're saying to ourselves. But if you can grab that, that helps you with being able to really understand that these words that you're saying, let's break them. And you're scrubbing the back here. This is where all your past history is. You're going, hiya! You're chopping it. You're like, yes, I need to chop this because if this keeps coming on, I'm not going to get to the next level. I'm not going to get into that space where I get to make sure, and I call it hashtag speaker locking arms. When you feel like you are really in alignment with people about that we're going to change this world. So receiving, there's so many repercussions when you're not receiving. You see how things start tethering together? And so if you do something in one scenario, you better believe it showing up other places. Anybody else have that in your life where you feel like not everything is showing up properly? So I believe it is in truth, receive, and love. Okay, so let's talk about that. Love is heart. You can feel it here. But you got to learn how to open that up and feel that everything's going to be okay. And I'll share with you a story later about why I didn't want to open up my heart. And I thought that was safe. And why I want to open up my heart now. Because if I don't open up my heart, then how I don't feel it's safe. And so I want to talk about that because it's counterintuitive. So let's get into that. And also, I'll talk about the do's, like what things you want to do. And if you do those things, how you can unlock it. How you can unlock it. So it's freedom, safety, healing. But the things that you want to get in and really nurture for yourself is some of those things you want to do so that you can get into truth, receiving, and in that love space. So welcome in, Rhonda Lumoxie. I hope that you're enjoying this. I hope the structure that I'm doing today, please tell me what you think about this. I hope it serves you because the thing is that I've been birthing this for about 6 months. And everything that I'm sharing with you this morning, I would say about 75% of this got birthed when my friend passed away. Let's talk about that. Do you have some people in your life who passed away over the past couple of years? And it doesn't have to be just based on coronavirus. We've had stress where people have been getting sick, and there's so many reasons why that we're losing people, but it can also be personal stressors. Being scared, not feeling very good in this world because we're going through some big changes right now. So here it is. I wake up last week and it's Sunday morning. And I'm talking to my husband and I look at my phone because I'm wondering, like what's happening for my kids. Have they already texted me? Which we text within the household. Like somebody could be in another room and they'll text me and they'll like wait for my text. And so it's kind of funny. That's what we do here. That's how we roll in the Fresh Inspiration Show, in the Fresh Inspiration Ranch. So I'm talking to Jeff, and then all of a sudden I go, oh, and I could barely breathe. I go, oh my gosh, Jeff, I need to walk around for a moment. I need to walk around for a moment. So I go for a walk around the house, and Jeff's like, okay. And right away I told him it's something about Anna, my friend, and it sounds like things aren't going very well, and she's been dealing with cancer. Well, I know that she was in Hawaii that week before. And so I'm walking around and I had this gut, like, oh, I could barely breathe. And I was walking around. And I go back to Jeff and I said, wow, Anna was in the ER. And they are saying that her liver's not looking good. And they're talking about morphine patch and like all these big things. And I'm like, oh my gosh. So I'm in that moment and I breathe it in and I connect with Anna through text. And I'm like, okay, what's happening? And so I find out that, she has a doctor's appointment coming up and like all these different details. And I go, okay. And to me, at this point, I just knew that all these memories that served this friendship over 30 years, 30 plus years, that they started coming alive to me. And my friend has been working with cancer, moving through her body. And I'm like, wow, this woman is just doing such fabulous things. This woman is, I would tell her, man, you got this, Anna. You got this. Let's do this. And this time it was more, it's been serious all along, but this time it was like, here, wait, things are really going down. So all these memories about my friend. And as the week went on with her trying different things, she was told that she could only live for about probably a week or a month. No real, definition of what it was. I've been with people that have really gotten into flipping it when there's things that all of a sudden, like, they're sick and then all of a sudden they're not anymore. At this point, I was just feeling something and I felt small. I didn't know how to handle this. And with less than a week, my friend passed on. I I couldn't believe it. And what came to me is, Rhonda, open up your spirit side. You got this. I love you. No matter what happens, I'll be there for you. I was speaking to myself, just like I did for Anna. You got this. Now, in your life, it could be right now where you feel that you are at a point that it's a breaking point, that you don't know how you're going to get to the next spot, but you know that you are listening, or you're trying to figure out how to listen. So today, in the moments that we have, I want you to be able to feel whatever you can while I hold the space, while the Fresh Inspiration Show holds the space for you, to give you your space to be able to be nurtured in the mind and in the spirit, that you got this and that I love you. There are so many powerful things that you are going to be doing consistently. The quicker you step into the freedom, safety, and healing, that's the first level. That's the level of what I want you to ask for yourself. So if you have a journal open today, or you want to type, how you want to step into this, but what is freedom? What is safety? And what is healing? What do those words mean to you? Do you have your own word of things that you're asking for, that you want, but you don't know how to get there yet? Because we're going to get into that. We're talking about truth, receive, and love. Because that's when you start asking yourself, like, how I need to do that stuff to be able to request for freedom to come in, request for safety to come in, request that healing. Because at this point, I know that if I don't get into my truth about my journey of healing my body, and not coming at myself and saying, I can't survive without my friend. I can't do this, I can't do that. And you hear all these I can'ts. And at first, when you first start this practice, you may say that to yourself consistently. I can't do this. I can't go on any further. I don't know how to do this. I need this and this to happen before I know I can move on. I want to tell you, I hear you. I hear you. I'm in the depths of that. few days of knowing that this pillar in my life that helped me know that I'm going to be okay. She was one of my warriors right here on earth. I could call her, I could text her, I could ask those questions, or I could tell her, I'm not feeling good today. You may not know this, but I was on thyroid medicine for 20 years, and I decided 5 years ago to step aside from that. And that was one of the biggest things I ever did. What is your thing that you are ready to make the biggest leap? Because some things have been holding you back, and you truly have been wanting to feel more freedom in life instead of restricted with rules and thinking you have to follow certain things before you can get freedom. What if I told you that you could actually start stepping into some new things and you could start feeling freedom, but that incremental step, every little step means you're working towards freedom if you tell yourself that. Because I want to know what the definition is for you of freedom. And I'm going to tell you mine right now. I feel, when I say freedom, I can feel my feet on the ground, but it's because I'm grounded. And I can feel that there's Mother Earth moving around because my spiritual space is like, I can feel this because I connect with Mother Earth every day. I find a way to touch my flowers that I'm growing, to be able to look up at the sky, to tell the world, like, I love you, through the universe, like, I love you. Freedom is that I get to say whatever I want when I'm here. Now, if I say whatever I want when I'm here in the fight or flight, then that's just speaking your mind, and that can be breaking things down, and that could be messing things up for you. Here, feet on the ground, you feel light, you feel flow from your big toe coming all the way through, up and through the hips. You feel light, you feel movement, you feel the spine, you feel that it's open and flowy. You feel, and if you're not feeling, then you haven't gotten to that freedom yet. So we all have different layers of where we are in our freedom. Where is that for you? My definition of the last part of what I think about as freedom is that I literally can open up my arms and my chest doesn't hurt. I don't go, oh, and I'm carrying that on me. I can feel it right here. Next part, after the freedom, the safety. What is your definition of safety? Mine is when I walk into a room, no matter who's in there. Before, when I was in my head here, I was like, who's there? I can only go if I know so and so people, because, like what I said earlier, I'm very, very shy. And running this show, you may not notice that because I'm on, and riffing and I'm doing my thing. But to have safety, there's some work I need to do for myself in the morning before I can actually truly appreciate what that is. Safety is, I feel the flow. I feel like I can say what I want to say. I can feel that I'm leading with the heart and that I'm asking lots of curious questions because I just feel safe. Healing, that I can feel my body literally, there's flow. I feel like I can rest when I say it's time to rest instead of pushing myself like I used to and totally ignoring what that really was for me. But sometimes we need to rest. And if we're not feeling like we're in that healing space where we're like trying to heal our body, this earth can damage our body. We are so lucky to have our body. Do, do you want to speak about anything about that? About appreciating yourself? Are you still stuck in looking at yourself in the mirror and saying everything and anything that may not be working for you? What about if you looked in the mirror and you started looking at your aura and started looking at like what you know that you can do for your body? So the swelling starts going down. So the body starts getting more tone because it's here on earth and vibing and vibing. So that's what your safety, is what your healing is, and that is what your freedom is. Now I'm going to get into truth receive, and love. I'm going to do that. I'm going to take you into the studio. I'm going to go into that room, and I want to be able to give you some clean space here. I'm going to take my phone and I want to take us into another space. And I want you to think about this. When is it your time to start going in deeper? When do you want to tell yourself that you have time to be able to do these things? When are you going to stop telling yourself that you don't have the time? So I'm going to be coming in right now. We're going to be talking about truth, receive, and love. Taking a deep breath and start feeling the best that you can and what you're looking for. All right, so here we are. I'm coming on live with you with my phone transitioning out of my office. And walking in. Hello, I'm here with you and we are coming through. We're coming through live. So what I want to share with you, Kiki, is the studio still open? Nobody's in there? Huh? Okay. Okay, so I love thinking about thresholds here. And we're going to be talking about like what we want to ask for ourselves. I'm going to take you into a little bit of a meditation, and then I'm also going to give you some flow and some kind of a feeling here that you're going to start asking yourself some stuff. And I feel like we need some fresh air for that. When I open up this door, think about how you're feeling before you walk in. Take a deep breath in. Let's open the door. Now, in here is where I get to hang out and be myself. I call this at my ranch the meditation room. And sometimes I'll bring people in and do weights and different things. In this space, you'll notice that I have orange walls. And in these orange walls, it's like the sun. It's the beauty of what we do for ourselves. It's the beauty of the sun rising. So when you start thinking about your day, what are some of the things that you do for yourself during the day or before you even start your day that helps you feel like you got this, that you are asking for freedom, safety, and healing? What are the things that help you get into that love space? This is what I do. I give myself a moment to be. So if you can be with me right now, put everything down, give yourself a moment here. Take a deep breath in. Now allow the breath to be that nurturing, welcoming, healing flow that serves you. Because right now, this is you asking for freedom, safety, and healing. And the components of the love and receive and truth is that I want you to feel how your brain gets to bring together that we are in trust with ourselves. Trust with ourselves. That we know that we got this. That we don't go after ourselves and think we have to change all these things about ourselves because things aren't working. What if you could see all the things that are working for you? So give yourself some quiet space here. As you inhale, receive. As you exhale, give yourself grounding and love, like a whoosh. As you inhale, receive it. You're going to notice if there's some walls there that it's kind of uncomfortable to breathe because I'm guiding you and it's hard to receive what I am working on receiving, sending that over to you. Are you receiving it? And love. When you exhale, are you allowing yourself the appreciation of that love that's coming towards you, and you feel safe enough to release and let it go? Keep that cycle going. Keep yourself breathing and allowing it to open you up more and more and more, just like a beautiful song, just like a beautiful movie that takes you into a space that you can't even imagine that you were going to feel this good for that day. That you found a really good show, or you found a really good, singer that you love, and they start opening you up, or you get so motivated for the day that you feel like you got everything that you want. So give yourself that time to start seeing that you got everything you want right here and now. So that is the space where you start feeling love. You start feeling like you can receive. You start feeling that truth. Hold it for a moment in silence and create what you can out of that. Where does that take your body? I hope it takes you in that component of healing. Do you feel that? Does it feel like something different? When we first went through that threshold, did you notice anything now different after taking a couple breaths? Did you give yourself the opportunity to go through that? Right now, I can feel my vocals are relaxed. My spine, where the nervous system is, opens. There's your freedom. I feel like I can't say anything wrong. Like, even if I feel like it's not the same, like all of a sudden I'll say squirrel. That for some reason, it still serves the purpose. That safety. That I feel, since my body is open, I can feel the healing happening in my body. Because if I know and trust my body, that if I relax, that my body will do what it has been here trying to do all the time, which is heal every part of my body. Now, if your body inside feels safe, it's going to start repairing those parts that maybe it hasn't been recognizing. Maybe your elbow's been hurting you and it's just been stuck there. Well, how do you build anything if you're feeling pain every day? So why not figure this out? Morning routine, maybe some meditation, maybe finding quiet space where maybe it's self-guided, where you don't say anything at all. Or do a workout, but your workout is just not your body moving. Your workout is something different. You're trying to get to truth in that workout. And you're noticing you're not tearing up your body like maybe you used to. You know, the old school, fake it till you make it. If you don't hurt, then it's just, you're not working hard enough. The grunts and the rawr and like all that kind of stuff. All of a sudden, everything just feels all as one. How you emotionally want to feel, you all of a sudden feel physically while you're working out. You feel this power. And when your lungs are being pushed, you go, oh, that feels so divine. But you can start feeling when you're pushing your lungs too much, where it's not repairing, but it's tearing stuff up. How about if you start listening to your body so then all is one? Now, when all is one, and that's what it is. Everything that tethers off, how you get to freedom, safety, and healing is all the work that you want to do to bring you into love, truth, and being able to be there for yourself and say, yes, I got this. My friends, this is the last part of Rhonda Lou Moxie. I hope you are enjoying me, enjoying her, enjoying this space. Start thinking about, what is your morning routine? What's your afternoon routine? What are you going to work with to be able to balance both sides so that you can start seeing the importance of what you're doing? You can start seeing your passion. You can start feeling that love. You learn to receive in a new way that maybe you never thought that you could. How can you quantum leap you as a vitality coach, as Rhonda Lou Moxie, right here, right in front of you, sharing this stuff? What do you want to do? If you could quantum leap, where would that take you? I don't know, because if I could quantum leap right now, it's something I couldn't fathom, because the brain all of a sudden steps aside. When that brain steps aside and you allow things to be, whoosh, let it go, let it go, let it go. Magical things happen. And you don't have to know what the result is, because you are just as curious as the process itself. Why control? Why say to people, this is the way things have to be? Why live in life living other people's rules? If it feels good, then you know you're here. You know you're in your serving space. That's when you get to block out the naysayers. You're going to quantum leap business. You're going to quantum leap your health. Things are going to start healing in ways that you thought couldn't possibly happen. But for some reason, how am I able to be off of thyroid medicine for 5 years and still be living? 20 years on medicine, knowing I had to take that little pill every freaking day. I've been working out since I was 14. Is working out the only thing that's going to keep me in this flow of the 5 years of being off of medicine? No. We really want to look at the overall picture so that you quantum leap, so that you feel freedom, safety, and healing in every day of your life. But you got to be in truth. Where is your pain? Look at your emotions. Look at these walls. This is like the sun is coming up. What does that do for you? Is that a good question for you? Is there any other questions I should be asking you? Come to yourself. Talk to yourself. You got this. We all need this for freedom, safety, and healing. I love you so much. I hope you enjoyed this space with me. We're getting ready to go into our next hour. And we have Michelle Nagel that just showed up, and I'm going to share with you what that is. I hope you got the freedom, safety, and healing in the stories and the components. And I'm receiving the love of me sharing about my friend who just passed away. Because if I didn't have this journey where I was getting into this curiosity and the truth, like really reconciling my brain, I'd be showing up in a different way, and I would have canceled everything. And I would have said, this week, no, not going to happen. But how do we keep moving forward? How do we keep bringing in freedom, safety, and healing? A question for you to ponder. I'm going to transition back into our main area. but I wanted to share this with you in a space that gives me joy. This is where I bring people in so that they can find their freedom, safety, and healing. This is what I do every day. I go outside and I look at Mother Earth and the sky, and I come in here and I sit quietly. I lift some weights or I flow with something. What is your thing that you're going to be doing? Catch up with you in the office. And as I'm transitioning, I want you to take some breaths. Think about the threshold that I came into, and you too. We're ready to exit out and go into our next hour. What were you able to feel? Where's the flow? I'd love to hear from you. Let's go through the threshold. Catch you right in my office at the Fresh Inspiration Ranch, and I'll get you into the next hour as we have Michelle Nagel coming in. Oh, I'm so excited about that. And then we also have where we're going to do our closing ceremony, and we're going to bless everything that we learned today. And so I appreciate you so much. Let me transition. I'm closing this window. I'm going right in, getting that next hour going. All right. So what'd you think? Were we able to get you there? Were we able to do this? I hope so.